Bom dia, boa tarde, or boa noche. Good morning, good afternoon, or good night. Hi, my name is Erica Hafke, and today I will be walking you through the vibrant and cultivating culture of Brazil, making sure that by the end of the speech, you will have understood the verbal and nonverbal communications as well as their most popular rituals. Brazil is known for capturing the most of all your senses, from the sound of their samba, their most popular form of dance, to the sense and the taste of their most popular traditional foods, such as their feijoada. Brazil is a bright and free spirited country with unique communication, gestures, and magical traditions. In relation to this course, Intercultural Communication. Intercultural communication is the communication between different cultural backgrounds. Culture plays an important role in intercultural communication because it shapes the way that people communicate and express themselves. Understanding different cultures is important as it helps to avoid misunderstanding and makes communicating more effective. Cultural is an important role in intercultural communication as it shapes the way that people communicate and interact with one another. Now I will be talking about the verbal communication within Brazil, starting with the language style, then formality, and then I will be teaching you a common saying. Starting off with the language style. According to the four most spoken languages in Brazil by Título Multilingual, Portuguese is the most common language spoken in Brazil, with 208.31 million Portuguese speakers. Although this is not the only language that is spoken in Brazil, as they also do speak Spanish, English, and German, with roughly around 8 million speakers each. The Cultural Atlas, covering communication within Brazilian culture in 2018, states that words in Portuguese have a diminutive form, which means to make things smaller, by adding the syllable inha for females or inho for males. For example, the word casa means little house, whereas the word casija is the more affectionate way of talking about the little house using the feminine. The diminutive is also used to lighten verbal statements. For example, instead of saying yes, someone may say só un pouquinho, only a little bit. Moving on to formality. The Cultural Atlas states that in Portuguese, there are different ways of expression to indicate formality or politeness. The most popular way of expressing this is using the word senhor for male or senhora for female, but it is also common to address someone by their professional title followed by their surname. Now to teach you a common saying. The common saying that I will be teaching you is amigo de onca. The Babel magazine, with the article A Guide to the Most Common Brazilian and Portuguese Phrases, provides this phrase. The literal translation means the friend of a jaguar. This expression became very popular in Brazil and originated in Brazil, but also became popular in Portugal, which is funny because there are actually no jaguars in Portugal. This saying is used to address a fake person, a person that goes behind your back, a person who's untrustworthy, or a liar. A friend who cheats on another friend is considered the friend of a jaguar. This expression originally came from the common book Amigo da Onca by Pericles de Andrade Maranhão. It was published for the first time in 1943 in Brazil. Now moving on to nonverbal communication in Brazil, talking about the physical contact, creating noises, and gestures. Starting with physical contact, the Culture Atlas states that physical contact is very popular among Brazilians. It is very widely accepted that touching is accepted. Touching the arms of the backs in people are very common, as well as public displays of affection are encouraged and make people very happy, such as kissing or holding hands. Brazilians tend to not give a lot of personal space, and not giving personal space is not uncomfortable for them at all. It is actually very normal. Now moving on to creating noises. The way that Brazilians create different noises have a huge effect on what they're trying to get across. For example, a Brazilian can click their tongue while shaking their head as a sign of disapproval or disagreement. Now, the gestures. Brazilians are very physically expressive with their gestures. Hand gestures happen simultaneously as they have a conversation. Handshakes are lengthy when you meet someone, especially for friendship, and they are initiated upon seeing someone and upon leaving. For women, kissing on alternating cheeks is a way of greeting each other, although adding a third kiss on a cheek for single women is a sign of good luck and them finding a spouse. The thumbs up gesture is a sign of approval, but Brazilians do not use the OK symbol as it is actually very offensive, inappropriate, and rude. To give someone good luck, you can place your thumb between your index or middle fingers, creating a fist. This is known as a fig and is considered to be a national symbol. The source I used was Cultural Atlas. Now moving on to Brazilian culture and rituals. According to the lecture, Rituals, Dr. C's Stories, Personalizing Rituals and Meaning, rituals are important to cultures because they are the primary component of their religion and most expressive forms of ceremonial acts. The first most common ritual in Brazil is the Rio Carnaval. You've probably heard of it. According to vvtravels.com, the Rio Carnaval is one of the most popular rituals in Brazil. It is performed in a carnival event with full, beautifully, traditionally portrayed Brazilian women, colorful costumes, spectacular choreography, and music. The carnival lasts 4 days before Ash Wednesday, from Shrove Thursday to Shrove Tuesday. The event continues uninterrupted through the day and through the night. Now moving on to the second ritual, Copiera. According to the Smithsonian Magazine, Copiera is a dance-like martial arts of Brazil. It is traditionally performed to the accompaniment of call and response choral singing and percussive instrumental music. This tradition is strongly associated with the country's northeastern region. Copiera derived from traditions brought across the Atlantic Ocean by enslaved Africans and fueled by the burning desire to have freedom. It became widely practiced as the means of breaking the bonds of slavery, both physically and mentally. Now moving on to the samba, the last ritual I have, but certainly not the least. According to Samba is Not Just Samba by Aventura do Brasil, samba is most often called the dance of Brazilians and is recognized by UNESCO as the intangible cultural heritage of humanity. Researcher Ney Lopez described the samba as the most impressive phenomenon of the 20th century. Samba is considered to be a joyful and rhythmic dance, and just as every other style of dance has, there is not just one way to samba. Samba schools are very cultural in Brazil, and samba schools from all over Brazil actually perform their samba based off of their interpretation of that year's theme in Rio Carnaval. In every samba school, the average is 4,000 kids in Brazil. In conclusion, Brazil is a beautiful country with its own unique culture, from the Portuguese language to the public displays of affection to dancing the samba. I hope now that you have a better understanding of the verbal and nonverbal communication, along with the fun and vibrant rituals of Brazil. And as they say in Brazil, ciao. And